What is up, Duval? I am so glad that you guys are here. I am pumped because tonight we are talking game plan and schemes. I know how much you degenerates love talking about game plans and schemes and like Raheem Morris's defensive front. Is it 4-3? Is it 3-4? Urban Meyer's tendencies. I know you guys are there for that, so that's why we're here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys that are in the chat. If you haven't yet followed us on Twitter, I'm at Jaguars_United. I think that it's worth the follow, but I am biased. I have to say I am biased. If you haven't yet followed us on Instagram, I don't blame you. I don't ever post on there, but we do have an Instagram. It's Jaguars United _. I'm going to try to bring up some of the chat here without giving too much away on the screen. I appreciate that you guys are here. Trying to catch up on the comments. I'm going to shout out to Jed Camplain, who was the first one here. He said the Jags draft Zach Wilson first overall. Oh, no. And he's trying to be a troll, and I appreciate that. I love trolls. Zach Wilson is actually not a bad quarterback. This is not a bad quarterback class. Christian Charles says, Noti Gang, if you don't get notifications, that's on you. Because although we claim to do shows every Monday, it is rarely that consistent. So shout out to you guys that have the notifications. There's no telling what days that we decide to do this. I finally had some time to break down some film and to look at what Urban's going to have, and we're going to show that. And you know what? We are not going to get copy striked by YouTube. That's the goal. We'll see what happens. It's Reese says volume up. I mean, I'll try. I'll definitely try. I'll see what I can do with that. Just You says Jed Camplain. Yep. Robert Adzert says 3-4. 3-4 defense, that's what I would assume, but it's not that. It's actually kind of complicated. It's complicated. Do you remember back in the day when you could make your like Facebook status for a relationship? Maybe you're not as old as me. Maybe you're not 30. Back in the day, for you youngins on Facebook, you could like set your relationship. Single, engaged, married, dating, and then it's complicated was an option. And that was it, man. It's complicated. If you had that on there, then you had some junk going on in your life. The idea of Linehan at OC makes me want to die. Linehan's not going to be calling any plays. The offense coordinator will be useless. As much as Urban Meyer says that he's not going to call plays, it's not true. And you can look at all of his past, and you can look to his favorite play of all time. I can't wait to tell you guys about that. Eddie Clutch says, don't get striked. We're not going to get striked. It's Reese says, United, you the man. No, it's Reese, you're the man, honestly. It's Reese is one of those people who has been on the Jaguars YouTube community even when we're bad. And now that we have some excitement, the OGs are like, do you remember? TJ Maxx, Robert Adser, Christian Charles, all you guys been here since the beginning. MySpace was the stuff back then, says it's Reese. MySpace, I make so many rants about MySpace, it's pathetic. And people even tell me, like, you got to stop talking about MySpace. Enough of that. People aren't here to hear about MySpace. They're here to see some film, and that's what we're going to do. Let's start with some Urban Meyer film here. And if you don't like this, then I'm sorry, but we're watching some film. All right, this is 4th down. You can't see it because I had to screen record this on my computer, and it doesn't give you a great indicator of kind of what's going on. So let me set it up for you. It's 4th down. The Ohio State's driving. This is the 2015 national championship game when Urban Meyer won the national championship. His quarterback was Cardale Jones. He had Ezekiel Elliott, and you're gonna see in the film that Ezekiel Elliott like carried. Nick Vanette, the tight end, pretty good offensive line, but he won with Cardale Jones, which is pretty impressive. But I like this because coaches' 4th down plays are special. Anytime you're watching football, anytime you're watching a game, if it's a 2-point conversion, if it's 4th down, if it's like the 2-minute drill, even the opening drive, honestly, the scripted opening drive, really pay attention to those plays because those are the coach's favorite plays. Those are the plays that they think is working, and those are the ones that they think that will work in those situations. So 4th down, Ohio State has like 3 yards to go here. I'm not a fan of Oh, it does say it right here. Thank you. Thank you, 24. Sorry, I was looking down here in the corner, and I saw that it was cut off, and I felt bad for you guys. I didn't want you guys to be misled. 4th down. They need 3 yards. Oregon's not known for their heavy defense, but they are going to line up with 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. So that would want to discourage me from running. You have a linebacker that's already leaning toward the line of scrimmage. And Urban Meyer's going to basically just run a jet sweep up there. He barely gets it. It's going to go to review. He barely gets it. But if you look back at the play, it's I like it. It's anytime you line up in shotgun and you need 3 yards, it's ballsy. I don't know if it works. Cardell Jones was really big. Wait till you see. But it worked. And here's my bottom line for Urban Meyer. And this is what I want Jags fans to get. And I wanted to kind of get this out early because I know people like to watch 2 minutes of the video. And that's fine. I don't blame you. I do it all the time. Urban Meyer loves his favorite play of all time is inside zone. Inside zone. Literally shotgun, run the ball between the guards with the running back. Maybe the running back sees something between the tackles, but rarely does he run the ball outside the tackles. But he sets up outside zone and outside runs with receivers and quarterbacks, and then he likes to pound the ball between the tackles with the running back. And I think a lot of people think that Urban Meyer coming in with this college spread type offense that he's going to be a guy that doesn't want to run the ball between the tackles, but actually it's the opposite. He loves running the ball down the middle. He does it with the quarterback. He does it with the running back, and obviously with Ezekiel Elliott, you're going to take advantage of his skill set, but he's going to do it. So James Robinson is good, but I don't think he's going to be the only running back on this roster when it comes time for opening day, but I don't want to spoil that too soon. You guys want to see another Urban play? I do too. All right, let's see what we got here. Urban's jet sweeps. I love it. Oh, no, stick with the inside zone. You guys don't believe me. I can see you in the comments. You guys are sitting there looking at me like, oh, there's no way he likes the inside zone. Okay, let me prove to you again. All right. So this is 1st down in the 4th quarter. Ohio State's up by 1 touchdown. So it's huge. It's huge. And you're gonna see what he's gonna do on the goal line here. I don't want to spoil it. I already kind of said inside zone, but that's what's coming. Arik Pleasance in the comments says, "Hey Jaguars United, my brother is Austin Pleasance. He is on the Jags practice squad. Can you talk about the practice squad and explain it?" I don't feel like I would do the practice squad justice. They're amazingly talented players. I don't understand when they get promoted. I know they can get poached from other teams. I don't know what type of film gets like I know they film every practice, obviously, but do other teams get access to that film, or do they have to go off of college and preseason film? I don't really know how it works, but I will look at Austin Pleasant's film. I love looking at film. I love it. Dude, I'm a film junkie, which is why we're gonna look at this 4th and down or this 4th quarter inside zone run right here. I get it. It's Ezekiel Elliott. So you're gonna run the ball between the tackles, and when you have a guy like that, you're just gonna do that. And I know that people think James Robinson is that guy, but what I love about this play is, again, Oregon is stacking the box. They are stacking the box. Ohio State is 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 running back. This isn't what we would call a jumbo package, but he's still going to commit to running the ball. Does that concern you at the NFL level? Because a lot of coaches do that, and they are not successful. I mean, Seahawks come to mind in the Super Bowl. They runs the ball. He's committed to the run. He scores. It is what it is. I mean, he's going to run a lot of this inside zone. He's interviewing both of them. Is Raheem our new DC? Is it Collins, the line coach from the Ravens? I think it's going to be Raheem Morris. I understand it's a lateral move, that he was just a D coordinator. We're going to get to Raheem Morris a little bit here in a second. I do want to look at a couple more Urban. Why are y'all so quick to get off the Urban film bandwagon? All right. Yeah, who cares? It's all a bunch of inside zones, but that's what we do around here. All right, another thing that Urban loves to do, and this is a staple of Urban's offense, and it's a breath of fresh air. We saw a tad of it with Jed Fish, who's all of a sudden a hot name. Loves the jet sweep, loves the orbit motion, loves bringing one guy from one side of the field to the other. And that's one thing that you noticed. Did you watch the Chiefs game with Andy Reid and Bieniemy's offense? They're moving guys all over the place. The Bills, they're moving in motion all over the place. One thing about Jay Gruden that we've talked about on this channel a lot is he keeps the formation tight. Like his entire formation will be between the hashes, which has its disadvantages because now your defense is only having to cover like half of the field. And I was always a big, proponent of spreading the field. And I get it's a spread offense and all that stuff, but I don't like this tight, old school military style offense where you run the triple option. I like that Urban runs a lot of this jet sweep. We're going to see a couple plays here of Urban just like abusing the defense with this jet sweep. So he's going to bring 17 in motion here. Now look, it's first down. They're backed up on their own 25. I think this is like the first play of the drive. And Oregon's going to come out in this weak, odd man front with, a guy over the center, and they're going to be just playing. Here's the thing. In this defense, Urban Meyer has identified that they have put a prioritized setting the edge. They want to keep everything inside. They want to keep everything in the middle. And because of that, he's going to run a bunch of jet sweeps, which is going to freeze this backside backer. And now you have basically a 6-on-5, and that's going to give a guy like Ezekiel Elliott plenty of running room. And, I tried to get excited about a bunch of guys that like to run, that are run first guys. Whoever the dude was that we had from Minnesota. God, he was a run first guy, and he wanted to run the ball. And it made sense to have Fournette, and I'm just telling you, like, Urban likes to run. You're going to see a lot of running from Trevor Lawrence. I'm okay with it. Jed Camplain says the jet sweep gets ran a lot in the NFL. You're right. It does get ran a lot in the NFL, and it seems that it's about time we get that way. Michael Duke says, do we have someone fast enough to run the jet sweep? I don't necessarily think Christian hit it. I don't necessarily think we need someone that's fast. We need someone that's effective. And I think that Laviska Shenault is effective because you can't tackle the guy. You hand Laviska the ball on a jet sweep, and he's going to take 3 guys to tackle him, or you have to push him out of bounds. He is fast. He is good with the ball in his hands, but it's not necessarily his speed that makes him a commodity to get to the edge. It's more of his ability just to not get tackled, which is beautiful, and I absolutely love it. It's Reese says Robinson was pretty good at getting to the hole and making some tacklers miss. I like Robinson in this offense. I do like Robinson. Pair him with Trevor Lawrence, Laviska Shenault, and I think that's enough for Urban Meyer to effectively implement his run game into the offense. Because, yeah, he spreads the field. Yeah, he's a short yardage guy. But ultimately, he's going to try to get the ball to the edge. But I do think he's going to add a running back. And a couple of guys that come to mind, Javonte Williams. I'll just pull this up here for you guys to see. I was watching some film of these running backs. This is PFF's list. Javonte Williams, inside zone, hits the gap, busts it on Duke. I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's a guy that I think that they could go after. I don't necessarily think that it's a guy that would fit this offense perfectly. I don't think Najee Harris. I know Najee Harris is a guy that everyone wants, but I think he ends up getting drafted higher than we're going to reach. I'm expecting I know this is high for Jags fans. I'm expecting a 3rd or 4th round running back. That's how much I think he wants to run the ball, and you're going to get guys like that. Kenneth Gainwell from Memphis. Khalil Herbert for Virginia Tech, who's an older guy, but I do like this film of Khalil Herbert. Let's see if we can back this up for y'all. I mean, this is an outside zone. And look, that's the thing, is Urban's going to want a guy that can run the outside zone. So he's going to use Robinson on the inside. He's going to use Shenault on the inside, outside. But I think Javonte Williams is a guy that could he's a wrecking ball, yeah, but I think that he's a guy that can get to the edge here. I mean, outside zone. Not great blocking, probably a hold here, but who's calling that nowadays, right? Cuts it back inside. You just need a guy with vision. I mean, that's what Urban wants. He wants a guy with vision, and I think that you're going to see some other guys. Chuba Hubbard, I think he goes higher than we're reaching for. Michael Carter from North Carolina. I'm just looking at some names here. Demetric Felton, UCLA. Trey Sermon, going to get drafted higher than we are reaching for. Stevenson from Oklahoma. I mean, there's guys out there. Yeah, Sermon would go much earlier for sure. But, I mean, he likes that jet sweep. Arik Pleasant says if they run similar plays that the Chargers did in the first season of Herbert, Lawrence would be in the first season with Herbert, Lawrence would be easily break the rookie record for touchdowns. Look, I honestly believe, like down deep in me, that Lawrence is the best prospect that's come out of college ever. I'm a homer. I get it. I know, but I am trying to be unbiased in his opinion, and I don't think I've seen someone come out that's as good as him. Honestly, I was pretty big on Andrew Luck. I was pretty big on Jameis Winston. I know Winston's been whatever. I was big on his college film, especially his freshman year. And, I mean, guys like that come out, you're like, okay, they're going to make a difference. Trevor Lawrence's film just, like, goes above and beyond that. There's no drawbacks to his game whatsoever. He can throw off his back foot. He can change arm angles. He has composure in the pocket. He tends to sense pressure. I mean, those are all things that are on my checklist for, like, elite quarterbacks. So, say what you want, is what it is, for sure. It's pronounced Eric. Well, it's not my fault you spell Eric with an A, okay? Not my fault. All right, so let's look at one more jet sweep play here, only because, I mean, I already have it on here. So, I mean, you know, we're gonna put it on here. Another jet sweep, Ezekiel Elliott is going to get the ball. 2nd and 6. I mean, Elliott's a beast, dude. Elliott was an absolute beast in college. I mean, if you're going to give credit to Urban for anything, it's riding Ezekiel Elliott into the championship. I had forgotten that they had used him so much in that game, but he was a beast, man. And I know people are already big on him, but that jet sweep, though, I mean, look, it just freezes this outside containment. It absolutely freezes. I mean, look at this angle he has to take. I mean, if he's not running a jet sweep there, I mean, he's already kind of trying to cut back on the back end and scoop, and he has no shot. And now you're looking at a numbers game. He still has to account for the quarterback, 12 gauge. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. All right, I know you guys aren't here for a bunch of jet sweeps. So let's look at Raheem Morris. He hasn't been announced that he's like the official coach yet for the defensive coordinator. But I kind of think that's what's going to happen. I understand that it could not, but let's just do it. We're here. Trevor Augustus says Etienne could be fun with Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, and you know, that pick is honestly something I could see Urban doing. Like, does Etienne make it to the 3rd round? I don't know. Like, if he makes it to the 3rd round, I think the Jags could draft Etienne. I just don't know if he'll make it to the 3rd round. I mean, here's the thing. I know running backs don't get drafted high, but receiving running backs still get drafted high. And Etienne has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. And I know he didn't do it in the last game, but, I mean, he has the ability to play out of the backfield. And the year they won the national championship, the year after, you associate Etienne with a guy who plays like a Kamara, plays like a McCaffrey. You can line him out in space. And Urban is literally trying to spread the field, give the ball to receivers and running backs in space, and make plays. And Etienne's a guy that does it. I just don't know where the reach is gonna be. Like, where would Etienne, like, what would be too high? Like, would the Rams pick in the 1st round be too high for Etienne? Like, honestly, like, think about it. Like, and I know that you guys are gonna be like, no, running back, screw that. But if he's like a hybrid running back receiver and he adds a lot to the offense, how high is too high for a guy like Travis Etienne? And there's a lot to consider there. You have James Robinson on the roster already, who's proven that he can run between the tackles. But bringing in, again, like, I don't think of him as a running back. I think of him as like a weapon. And combine him with Chenault and Chark and Robinson. Now you're kind of getting an offense that Lawrence can use. You're still able to use your picks in the 2nd round on an offensive line to protect. Too high? Okay, 24. Mastrangelo and Christian Charles says too high. Okay. Probably a late 1st, 2nd round pick, says Trevor Augustus. Yeah, I agree. I think that's where you're going to end up seeing him go. Honestly, I'm okay with taking him there. The second would be a good spot, says 24. But, I mean, look, I mean, do you think you can get that much more value at 25? Like, is that your thought process? Like, I understand it. But I don't know if you can. I mean, look at what these late round picks have been. Kalavon Chazon, Taven Bryan. these guys, I mean, I understand you can hit late. I'm not saying you can't hit late, but it's definitely a coin flip. It's not like you're picking in the top 10. If you can get a guy like Etienne that can help the offense, not just a running back, like an all-purpose guy, like there's no reason in my mind why you can't have Etienne and Robinson on the field at the same time. And if that's the case, you're giving Lawrence more weapons, and this offense needs more weapons if Lawrence is going to be successful. I think that's the one thing that everyone in the America, Jags fans or not, can agree. I don't know. Too many needs? Okay, I agree. Okay. Too many. Okay, I would listen to that argument, but I would just challenge you to think about it a little bit further, because you do say there's too many other needs, but is offensive weapon a top need? Because running back's not, but is offensive weapon. And where is ETN labeled? I'm done with the ETN conversation. I'm sorry. I rant. It's just something to think about. I've always felt that way. I was making this same argument about Dalvin Cook when everyone wanted Leonard Fournette, and I was sitting here saying Dalvin Cook's an offensive weapon. Get a guy in here that can do it all, and people thought that I was off the rocker. All right, let's look at some Raheem Morris stuff, okay? I already set this up, so I'm not going to waste it. All right, Raheem Morris, if you don't know, spent some time in Tampa, spent some time in Atlanta. I got a text that the word apparel is spelled wrong in the running lines. That's good to know, because I've used that line there for probably a year now. All right, we're gonna look at Morris's defense, and I would say typically he runs a 3-4. I'm sorry, forgive me. He runs a 4-3, and I know people don't like 4-3. They want to be like hybrid 3-4, but most of the defense I've seen out of him has been 4-3. But he was able in Atlanta to kind of change it up, run some different looks. When it comes down to 3-4, someone mentioned in the chat earlier 3-3-5 defense. There's really not a lot of differences between, and I think people get a little too concerned about the differences between the formations and where they're lined up. The difference between a 4-3, a 3-4, and a 3-3-5 are like half of yards, depending on where they're lined up pre-snap. People get too caught up in that, and I'm just going to say that right now. I apologize for people that are into that. There is some differences, but it's more about stopping the run and getting an advantage in the pass rush than it is putting your players in the best place to succeed. For example, a lot of people have said K'Lavon Chaisson would be better in the 3-4 as an outside rusher, and what they mean is coming from the 9 technique, basically meaning from the outside shoulder of the tight end. Okay, so there's no tight end. Like if we look at this right here, there's no tight end here on the left side of the offensive line, but Dante Fowler is lined up on the outside shoulder of where a tight end would be if he was on the line of scrimmage. So as a defensive coach, we would say Dante Fowler is lined up in the 9 technique. Typically, the 9 technique is better suited for pass rushing. So when people say K'Lavon Chaisson will be better in a 3-4-9 technique, they're basically saying he's just a better pass rusher than he is a run stopper, which is true. On 3rd and medium, 3rd and long, K'Lavon Chaisson is a beast, because trying to stop him in space is almost impossible with his athleticism. However, if they had 2 tight ends lined up, if Atlanta had 2 tight ends right here lined up next to their tackles, K'Lavon Chaisson being lined up in the 9 technique would hurt us, because they would just run the ball down our throats. So just another rant. I'm just telling you, the formation and the schemes don't really matter. I know it's a ball breaker for a lot of you, but it doesn't. Players will make plays. You can set them up for a little bit more success depending on like the situation, but that's another story. So here we're going to see Raheem Morris actually line his defense up in an odd man front, 3-4. You guys can be really pumped about this. For those of you that said 3-3-5, you're actually spot on. This guy here, he's obviously a nickel back. You could replace him with an athletic linebacker like a Quincy Williams or something like that, and you could make it a 3-4 with just one substitution of how you identify this player. We're going to identify him as a defensive back, so that puts them in a 3-3-5. And I like this play because they're going to bring pressure with 5 guys. And anytime you're bringing pressure, it is 2nd and 19, so it's not really fair. They're going to bring pressure, and he's going to be in a Tampa 2. So basically they're playing a hard cover 2, and this is the only thing that Raheem Morris gets knocked on in all of his coaching. I went through a bunch of film. I went through a bunch of articles. The only thing he gets knocked on is that the middle of the field is soft. He runs a cover 2. His corners are playing really hard boundaries. Safeties are playing really far back, and basically the slant, the slant, the flags, the posts are all wide open because they're just trying to keep it all in front of them. They're going to blitz here on a deep yardage situation. You would hope that you don't give up a bunch of yards here, and the middle of the field is going to be wide open. I mean, 34, had no shot. It had nothing to do with the defense, with the formation. It had to do with what the defense was called. I mean, they called a 5-man blitz and a cover 2. He's going to try to keep outside leverage, and then there he is, and it's going to be open. The slants are going to be all day. Players that pride themselves on playing man will give this up a lot. Think about Jalen Ramsey. We ran a lot of cover 1. We ran a lot of man with Jalen Ramsey, and what he would give on that is the slant. It's the hardest thing to defend in man. Think about playing basketball. If you're playing basketball, you don't want to give up driving to the paint. You don't want to give up driving to the hoop, so you kind of force them outside. But a good ball handler will set you up one way and then go the other because that's where he wants to go. So in man, it's really hard to defend the inside of the field. You have to really commit to it. And that's the one knock on Raheem Morris, is that his Tampa 2 style defense is kind of soft in the middle. I don't want to be negative, though. I'm not negative here. So we're definitely going to look at something I like that Morris does here. All right. Let's see here. Any good comments here? It's Reese says, keep breaking it down. That's what we do, Reese. Moonluigi says, didn't Atlanta blow a ton of leads with him? Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was not popular in Atlanta. He did utilize his players. Oh, no, Dan Quinn definitely did too. Raheem Morris didn't really have a lot of time. Raheem Morris had 1 season with the Falcons. He's actually better known for his time in Tampa. And I did go back and look at Tampa's film, and it's a lot of 4-3. But that was almost 10 years ago, so I don't know if that's what he's still committed to. I'd rather look to what he did last year as far as what he wants to do. It's Reese says, our DBs are good enough for that, and I feel we would get killed in the middle. Slants will definitely kill us. Teams who know how to exploit it. That's the problem, man. I mean, that's why you're seeing more and more teams just abandon investing in their defense, whether it be with salary cap or draft picks, because you can't stop good offenses. The way the league is set up, the way the rules are set up, a perfect offense is uncoverable. I mean, when you're coaching defense, I'm a defensive guy. I coached defense my entire life. Every once in a while, there would be a perfect throw and a perfect catch, and the defensive back would play it perfectly, and I would, as a coach, have to look to the defensive back and go, hey, good throw, good catch. And that's all you could say, because a good throw and a good catch is uncoverable. You're going to have to give up something, and that's why you're seeing teams commit more to their offense. All right, here we go here. This is going to be, again, a 5-man front. Like, Fowler's lined up at the 9 technique. It's where he likes to be, stand up. That's where I wish he was with the Jags more. But they're going to have 4 down linemen. I think this has a lot to do with the fact that they're lined up on the left hash, which means there's a lot more field on the right side. So instead of this backer being walked down to where they typically are, he's kind of lined up with some room to be able to play inside or outside, which I'm okay with that, okay? But I do like what they do here. They're going to disguise what they're doing, and because they're bringing 5 and they run a play action, they're going to catch Seattle in a play action. This is the jet sweep, the PA boot that Wilson's known for. A lot of quarterbacks are known for that. That PA boot, he's going to run the play action here. I think this is Tack McKinley. He keeps pretty good leverage here, and you're going to make a tackle on him. And this is just a good play call. Anytime you're blitzing more than 4, it's going to be a designed blitz call by the defensive coordinator. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means that Raheem Morris called a blitz, 1st and 10. There's something to be said about timing. You can say it's lucky. You can say he called it at the right time when they called a play action. But good coordinators and good coaches seem to get lucky a lot. And they're going to be calling blitzes at the right time because they've broken down the film. They've realized tendencies. They've looked at the film and they've said, okay, when Seattle's lined up on the left hash and they're inside their own 30, they like to run PA to the field. And this is what good coordinators do. Look, Urban knows what good coordinator knows a good coordinator. Urban's been an analyst. He's been a national champion on 2 different teams. He's a quarterback whisperer. Like, he knows what to look for in coordinators. Like, I want Raheem Morris. I hope that he comes over here. I don't know why he wouldn't, to be honest with you. So I expect him that he does. Robert Azert said Schobert better get faster. I don't know what to think about Schobert, and maybe you guys can help me with that. Early in the season, I was like, Schobert is a bum, and then in the season, I'm like, oh, wow, Schobert's really good. I don't know what to think. I've only seen him a year here. I liked him in Cleveland, and that's all I can. UCF Jaguar says, let's go. What's up, UCF Jaguar? What's up, dude? Not much, man. Just chilling. We're watching some film, and kind of breaking down. I mean, we'll see what happens, Played a good round of golf today. I was off MLK Day. Shout out MLK. Got to play some golf, and yeah, good day overall. Now we're just breaking down some film. All right, let's look at another Raheem Morris play, because again, Raheem Morris is kind of the anomaly of this team. We know what Urban is. He's spread, inside zone, quarterback. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going to run the ball 12 times a game. If you don't think that's going to happen, then you're delusional. Protect Lawrence. He's not. He's going to run the hell out of Trevor Lawrence, 100%. I like this play because Raheem Morris is going to line up in a 3-4. And look, he shows you the ability to kind of be diverse in his defensive coverages. I mean, 3 down linemen. He's going to have his 2 backers really tight to the line of scrimmage. The Saints, this is 3rd and 1. This is a big play. This is where, again, not a fan of the tight formation because now they have 5 guys at the line of scrimmage. I can tell you right off the bat, before the ball is even snapped, these 5 guys are probably going to be able to spill the ball to the outside. Okay, that's just numbers. So we'll see what happens. The play action is going to probably confuse them a little bit. Oh, this is Taysom Hill. All right, so we're watching Taysom Hill in the pocket. All right, I actually like Taysom Hill. I hope he gets better here, but this kind of adds another dynamic to it because the NFL is kind of going to gimmicky type offenses. Taysom Hill, for example, very gimmicky. I love it. I love the Taysom Hill experiment. I wish the Jags had a dude they could bring in once a drive to just totally throw off the defense. When you bring in Taysom Hill on 3rd and 1, like, what could you possibly be expecting out of this? Probably a run play, maybe a boot, a sneak. I have no clue. So how do you even cover this? And I think Atlanta's defense does a pretty good job not biting on the play action. I mean, look at this. These 3 linebackers, not a single one of them has even taken a step toward the line of scrimmage. Like, these guys are not fooled at all on this play. When the Saints were drawing this up, they're thinking, all right, we need the linebackers to bite and to commit, and we need to have 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, and we'll have something open. These guys don't bite. Shout out to Raheem. Covering their guys. Trevor Lawrence has nothing open. And sack. And look, that's something that is a credit to the coach, man. That is a credit to the coach. I've seen so many linebackers bite on play action. They're over anxious. I mean, the Jags did that all year. And if I saw one more film of Jags linebackers biting on play action, I literally was going to punt my phone when I was watching it. Good coaching, read your keys. You saw on that play, the Saints receivers were releasing on routes. The linebackers identified it, and they were able to cover. I love it. I'm excited about Raheem Morris. I'm excited about Urban Meyer. I think you guys should get pumped. You guys should be real pumped about these hires. It's going to be good. It's Reese says, as long as when Trevor does run, he gets down and doesn't take unnecessary hits. He is that type of guy. Brandon Latouche says, what do you think about Jags going 3-4, especially with Chazon tweeting about it? I think there's a lot of situations when the 3-4 could work, but the difference between a 3-4 and a 4-3 is like literally like a yard one way or another. Like, his hand's in the dirt, his hand's not in the dirt. It's not that big of a deal. I think a 3-3-5 would be the best defense. That's where I'm at, just because modern NFL gives many. I mean, you're a nickel 65% of the time in the NFL. So to say that we're okay, for example, Brandon, for example, like the Jags, you would consider a 4-3, okay, and you would say Todd Wash runs a 4-3, and so in your head you're thinking he has 4 down linemen, 3 big linebackers that stuff the run, spill things to the outside. When in reality, the Jaguars had 5 DBs on the field more than 60% of the snaps. So in reality, the Jags were a nickel defense, meaning they had 5 DBs and a nickel back, or maybe a speed backer like Wilson, Williams, one of those guys. we get too obsessed with what we are. Like, players make plays. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Someone's job is to rush the passer. Someone's job is to cover the tight end. Someone's job is to cover middle thirds. Everyone has a job. And if everyone does their job, the defense will be good. Where they're at doesn't really matter that much. And if Chazon wants to play in space from the 9 technique as an outside rusher, he doesn't need a defensive philosophy change. He needs his defense to put them in a position where he can rush the passer on third downs. That's what will help him succeed, not where he lines up pre-snap. Love the guy, but that's the reality coming from a coach. Charlie Boy, would you want Anthony Lynn? Yes, any former head coach I'll take because Urban's running the show. If I had to guess, Urban is a guy that probably hands his coordinators like what percentage of what plays he wants to run and to which players, and he's the czar of the team. I don't think the coordinators matter that much. Robert Adler says, it's funny how NFL networks say we're relevant now. Well, I mean, that's how it goes, man. That's it. Lynn had a ton of questionable calls this past season. I'd want someone else. Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, look at a guy like Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley was a horrible head coach. Horrible head coach. Probably regarded as one of the best coordinators in the league. You can be one without the other. Anthony Lynn could be a guy that is a lot better at calling defensive philosophies and setting up how many reps of indie and team and special teams and fourth down working than he is a guy who is the CEO of the team. And that's just a reality. Jed can't play in a hybrid 4-3 to a 3-4 wouldn't be bad. No, and that's what most teams are doing nowadays. Christian Charles says New York will be fine with Fields. Yeah, they will. All right, I think that's it for me. I've been on for, not that long, but, I mean, I got to everything I wanted to get to. I really do appreciate you guys being here. I had a lot of fun tonight. Hopefully I'm going to do this more this week. My work schedule is actually chilling out. I have a pretty busy work schedule from, like, August to February. So coming up here soon, I'm going to have nothing but time, and I'm going to be putting out a bunch of videos. So make sure you subscribe, get notifications. UCF Jaguars says Randy Moss with the Duval County COVID. Do you realize Randy Moss got kicked out of FSU? Okay, he was literally kicked out of FSU. If you get kicked out of FSU, then I'm just going to go ahead and assume you don't know what you were talking about or what you're doing. No offense, you're just probably not the most educated guy if you can't even get through FSU. No hate to the Seminoles in the chat. Love you guys. But I think even you would agree that if you can't make it at FSU, then you probably don't have the right to be talking about which cities and franchises are viable and which ones aren't. That's it. It's Reese. Cool. Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys. Reese, Robert, Eddie, Moon Illusions, UCF Jaguar. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for being here. I'll be here this week. Make sure to check out UCF Jaguar. We love him. He's the GOAT of Jaguars YouTube. Shout out to all the fans that are always here. We love you guys. As always, go Jags.